So you might be wondering how you can find love, or where to start, or even how to reignite the spark in your marriage. Psychologist Donatus Michalka from Life Focus is here to talk us through it all. Good morning to you, Donatus.
Good morning, Casey.
It's important for people to know that they can find love after divorce or death. How do you encourage that?
Well, do you know, to find love, you've got to make room for it. And let's face it, after divorce and death, it's trauma. It's a very painful process. There's a wound there. It's like having a wound in your leg. You know, you've got to make room to heal it. And you've got to keep it sterile. You've got to keep it clean. You know, there's a practical process. You've got to make sure it doesn't get reinfected. And after a divorce and after death, there's pain, can be resentment, there can be hurt, there can be depression. You've got stuff going on in your head that can be toxic. So there is a time for accepting the process. You've got to connect to your grief and maybe your anger and your rage. But then there's also a time for moving on. There's time for letting go. And forgiveness is a process where you can let go. When the time comes, you've got to let go and make room for love and get rid of the junk, just like cleaning out your wardrobe. Get rid of the old stuff.
It's interesting, Donatus, because say they've been in a relationship for 30 or 40 years and very set in your ways, then all of a sudden you find that you've lost your partner either through divorce or death, and they're dealing with all those issues. How do you then meet somebody else and not carry those issues with you? You've sort of said to move on, but what are your tips for them to move on? How do they do that?
It's like making room in your wardrobe for new material. And if your wardrobe's full of junk, there's no room for the new stuff. And how do you do that? Forgiveness is a very practical thing. There's a time where you say, oh, for my sake, for my sanity, I've got to let go. I've got to let go of my grief. I've got to let go of my anger for my sake. And how do you do that? It's a skill set.
I was wondering.
How do you get fit? Sometimes you need a trainer. Sometimes you just need to get out there and start practicing it.
Yeah, it's up here, isn't it?
It is. The stuff that's in between our ears, Jenny, lives rent-free. And it's full of junk, and we need to get rid of it sometimes to make room for love, to make good room for the good stuff.
For the good people.
For the good stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
What
I'll keep that in mind.
What about for people who just simply can't move on? What do you tell them? Why should they be out there looking for love?
Well, you know, as Tom Jones said a long time ago, without love, I'm nothing. You know, love is everything. Everyone wants love. At the end of the day, if you want it enough, you'll let go of the junk. Love makes the world go round. We all need love. Love's part of who we are. We ache for it. One good way of making room for love is letting go of the junk.
Okay. All right, Donatus Michalka, thank you for your insights. Jenny Seaton, thank you so much for spending the last 3 mornings with us on Today Perth News for our Seniors Week. Hasn't she been wonderful, everybody?